It has now been just over 2 weeks since one of Hollywood's most disturbing family tragedies shocked the nation. The brutal double homicide of acclaimed filmmaker Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle Reiner has left investigators, the entertainment industry, and the public searching for answers and grappling with the devastating human cost behind the headlines. As the investigation continues, the focus has increasingly turned to the Reiner family itself, their grief, their silence, and the troubling details emerging from official records. A family appears in public for the first time 15 days after the killings. Members of the Reiner family were seen publicly for the first time. The appearance came on what should have been a joyful occasion, Romy Reiner's 20th birthday, but instead unfolded under the heavy shadow of loss. Romy and her older brother Jake Reiner were photographed outside the family's Malibu property during a subdued gathering. Romy, who investigators confirmed was the one who discovered her father's body, was seen dressed entirely in black. According to reports, she has been staying at the Malibu home since the deaths of her parents. Jake was later seen walking along the beach with his girlfriend and Romy's boyfriend, filmmaker Alex Silverberg. The images reflected a family attempting to process unimaginable grief while under intense public scrutiny. In a brief statement released through a family representative, the Reiners expressed gratitude for the support they've received, saying they would share details about a memorial service at a later date. Beyond that, the family has remained largely silent, a decision many families make in high-profile criminal cases, especially when legal proceedings are still underway. What the death certificates reveal, while the family has chosen privacy, official documents have begun to reveal stark and unsettling details about the final moments of Rob and Michelle Reiner's lives. According to death certificates obtained by media outlets, Rob Reiner's body was discovered at 3:45 p.m. inside the home. Michelle Reiner was found just 1 minute later, suggesting the attacks occurred close in time and space. Both deaths were ruled homicides, with the cause listed as multiple sharp force injuries inflicted by a knife. Medical examiners concluded that the injuries were sustained at the hands of another individual. The certificates further indicate that both victims were cremated, and their remains were released to the family on December 19, just days after the killings. For investigators, timelines like these are critical. The minute-by-minute discovery times help establish potential movement within the house. Sequence of events and opportunities for intervention, all essential components in building a criminal case. The arrest that shocked the public, perhaps the most disturbing aspect of this case, is who authorities say is responsible. Nick Reiner, the couple's 32-year-old son, remains in custody after being charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Prosecutors allege that both killings were intentional and premeditated, a charge that carries the most severe legal consequences. Nick is currently being held without bail, awaiting further court proceedings. Law enforcement officials have not publicly detailed the motive, and investigators have been careful to avoid speculation as the case moves through the legal system. As with all criminal cases, Nick Reiner is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law. However, the allegations alone have sent shockwaves through both Hollywood and the wider public. A troubled past comes into focus as investigators work behind the scenes. Attention has also turned to the broader family history, particularly struggles that had been publicly acknowledged long before this tragedy. Nick Reiner's past battles with addiction and relapse have been documented over the years. Friends and family had previously spoken about efforts to support him through recovery, highlighting the complexities that often surround substance abuse and mental health. In recent days, an old 22 podcast interview featuring Romy Reiner has resurfaced online. In the interview, recorded years before the killings, Romy spoke openly about her own struggles with substance use and mental health. She described a period of heavy marijuana use, acknowledging dependency and long-term challenges with anxiety and depression. She also spoke candidly about experiencing suicidal thoughts during her teenage years, though she emphasized she never acted on them. It's important to note that none of these past admissions imply responsibility or wrongdoing. However, in high-profile criminal investigations, previously public statements often resurface as people attempt, sometimes unfairly, to construct narratives around unimaginable events. Mental health experts consistently warn against oversimplifying tragedies or retroactively assigning meaning to old interviews, especially during active criminal cases. The Hollywood community responds as the investigation unfolds. Tributes to Rob Reiner have continued to pour in from across the entertainment industry. Among the most emotional came from Cary Elwes, the actor whose career was launched by Reiner's direction in The Princess Bride. In heartfelt tribute, Elvis shared rare behind the scenes footage from the beloved film and reflected on the impact Reiner had on his life. He wrote that he was just 24 years old when he first worked with Reiner, describing the loss as one that would never fully fade. His message echoed a sentiment felt by many in Hollywood that Rob Reiner was not just a director, but a mentor and creative force whose influence spanned generations. These tributes stand in stark contrast to the grim legal proceedings, now associated with his name, a reminder that behind the crime scene photos and court documents were real people, relationships, and legacies. Where the investigation stands now, as of now, authorities have not released further details about forensic evidence, possible weapons, or the sequence of events leading up to the killings. Court records remain sealed in part, a move that often occurs to protect the integrity of an ongoing prosecution. Investigators continue to review evidence, interview witnesses, and prepare for upcoming hearings. Prosecutors are expected to outline their case more clearly as it moves toward trial. For the Reiner family, the path forward will be long and painful, marked by court dates, media attention, and the impossible task of grieving while seeking justice. A case that raises difficult questions. This case forces uncomfortable questions into the public consciousness about mental health, family dynamics, addiction, and how tragedies can unfold behind even the most successful public lives. But for now, the focus remains where it should, on the facts, the investigation, and the legal process ahead. As the justice system takes its course, one truth is undeniable: two lives were violently taken, a family was forever altered, and a legacy built over decades now exists alongside one of Hollywood's most tragic crime stories. And until the courts deliver answers, much of this story remains unresolved.